Welcome to a new spirit that will warm your heart. Welcome to a new spirit. Every day's a brand new start. Where encouraging words can heal your soul and dreams will be renewed. Welcome to a new spirit, a new spirit in you.
Was acupuncture about accessing the tone ooh or ow? Welcome to the New Spirit Radio Show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date, I sure hope we all agree, it's September 28th of 2022. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and MIT Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Answering the ultimate question, why are we here and what is our purpose?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car. One driver gets out and another driver gets in. And this allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master healer and teacher, a guy named Rahim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Rahim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench in the rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, MIT Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley. Hey!
Hello! Hello, everyone. Nice to see you.
We have a grand opening of people. I'm sure we're going to get some more that are coming on. For those of you that are new and joining us, yes, we do have an agenda. A quick outline here. We love to share about how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy in the last week. We're going to share some announcements. We'll do a moment of silence for special prayers, and then we'll share the trance segments. We will all participate. Have to, if you want, we will join in participating in a meditation. I'll talk about some closing notes and watch out. How about join us for the novena? It's a special prayer celebration we have towards the end. I talk about what we can be appreciative of, and we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. However,
Right.
First up is, oh man, this one's not going to last. It's going to go poof in a second because it's at the... Well, it's lit. It's lit. Does that mean it's groovy or something? Let's see. We've got...
Close enough.
We like to start with how did you use Novus philosophy last week? So, my favorite question is Rochambeau or rock, scissors, paper, or you choose?
Okay, I'll choose. And this time I'll go first because I feel like I pick on you all the time.
Okay.
All right. So, what did I use of Novus philosophy? Okay, so I'm very, very excited to share that the minister training is starting next month. Like,
yay!
Yes. So I had a nice chat with Ellen, who's going to be the minister who's facilitating, and I'm extremely excited. So I've been having all of these reflections on, as I was filling out the application, I was having all these reflections on just how I've always known from when I was quite young. Actually, I always knew that I was going to have three professions in my life. I was going to be a therapist, I was going to be a minister, and I was going to be eventually a university instructor.
Wow.
Later. And so it's like, and I would know when I would know when it's time to do these things when it happens. So I was never stressed about what I was gonna do. Like I always knew that I was going to do these things. And so now that I'm here and I'm on profession number 2, but it's now this lifelong dream that I've always wanted, because I was very, very fortunate to have encountered Gnosticism when I was very, very young. And so I grew up all throughout that. And so it was just interesting, just reflecting on like some of the questions were, for instance, like, like how did you arrive? Basically, like how did you arrive to where you're being? How do you know that you're not going to go off to somewhere else, some other philosophy? And so it's just like it's like, man. I was just thinking to myself, I was thinking of all of these different times that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
It not going well in some conversations where, my family felt that growing up that I was, into devil worship or something insane like that, which is this is absolutely crazy. I was like, no, Mom, no. No. Could not be farther from the truth. I love God, like through and through, 1000%. So please try not to worry. But it's just interesting. So I just was doing a lot of reflecting over the week, and I'm super, super excited to go on this like last toward
trajectory or destination, or
and
path.
Just be able to help.
That's better. Because
being of service, yeah.
I'm not sure I should ask, how long have you waited for this to start?
I know, right? I always used to be super envious.
And that's not to criticize anybody, because it's just how
it's okay, yeah.
the logistics within our organization finally got made this available.
Yeah, it's totally okay. I will say I was very envious that I wasn't. When I was younger, I was like, man, why wasn't I born like a couple decades earlier so I could have been around Sylvia and like actually like intentionally got and like joined. I was like, man, why couldn't I have started? Like, man, just like every day I would be so upset about it. Like, man, this is a drag. I'm so bummed out about this. But but now that I've gotten to know myself and to know that I am a marathon runner kind of personality. I used to run a half marathon a week for fun. I mean, that's the mentality that I have. Like, I'm very like, you set me on a path and I stay on the path, and I'm good. I am good to go for a long, long, long time. So just getting to know myself with that, I feel like I probably raised my hand and said, like, I'll come in afterwards. Y'all have your fun. I'm going to be okay. Gnosticism is my jam. I will be okay, and I'll be here to help however it's needed. So that's, I don't know, that's just the reflection I've been doing.
Fun.
So, yeah. Okay. Your turn, Tom.
My
what
turn.
did you use of Novus philosophy over this last week?
If I can find where I put my notes.
Put your notes.
Oh, okay. This is a I don't know if I want to call this self-reflection or oops, or showing dirty laundry or something like that. But let's see. Oh, so this, for me, from my experience, I learned this from minister training and trance and church, and it's all about don't say Sylvia said, Francine said, or Rahim said, unless you're going to quote them from their source of material. And I know I've been like, in the minister's training, you should be hearing about this as well. But I wanted to bring this up because I think I've been, guilty of it, for lack of a better term. And I got to get better at not doing that, not saying Sylvia said, or Francine said, or Raheem said, it's Francine had told us about this a while ago and said, don't do that unless you're gonna. And Sylvia said it too, because if we remember correctly, in one of Sylvia's books, Sylvia was noted said something to the effect of she's paranoid of misquoting Francine. So she would make sure that she doesn't say you know unless she's reading verbatim, and it's that same kind of vein that we don't want to say that say it in that expression. And so what I thought of is, hey, let's have a fun listener interaction. That if the listeners hear us say that, to ring a bell or something and say, we're calling you out on that. And I thought, okay, that'll be an interesting activity. And so our goal is, and for you and I, is we got to catch ourselves and prevent ourselves from saying it and express what we want to say in a different term. And some examples are, if you quote, be formal and say who, quote, and be reading the actual text. An example is like in Journey of the Soul, topic 3, page so and so. Tom says, and I quote, "Do blah 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 blah," and then end quote. Which has helped my health. So if you wanted to share information like that, if not, own it, personalize it, and you can say, here's what I think and feel and believe, how I understand it and how I use this. You could say, I recall the story and the lesson that I learned is blah, blah, blah. The other one is the ideas in or I was inspired by Journey of the Soul topic 3, and I started my baking soda and my tartar sauce. Thank you. I was trying to remember tartar sauce in water.
Cream of tartar, yes.
The cream of tartar. Thank you. I started that regime. So that's the kind of thing you and I, I'd like us to focus on that and do our best to express it in that fashion. Because I know it's so easy to say, well, they said, and that's just part of it is. Well, anyway, in the ministry, but even in general, it'd be a helpful thing is that's going to help keep our knowledge and philosophy pure. Part of it that's about being human. It's the wine stories. The stories get wine gets better with age. The stories get better with age, and things can get adjusted. Let's see. That's what it was. It says challenge listeners to help us, be honest. And if you catch us on it, great. That's fun for us to help us keep adjusting for that. And if you know the material, find out where the material. If we think it's in one thing and you hear and know it's in another, let us know. We're always open to helping everybody and find the material and read for yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Being able to have citation and being able to look and see or listen is really, really important for sure.
And yeah, I appreciate when you grab a book and say, well, here it is. And I'm like, I don't have the books right behind me to grab. So I appreciate the fact that one, you've, are quick to find things and be able to browse, help us find stuff. So fun. Anyway, that's my
fidelity to the truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, there he went. The cat came up to agree and off he went. Okay.
Let's see. So that was anybody post anything in the chat?
Well, yes, we do have some comments. Effie says, I always start with when connecting with others on spirituality, take what you want and leave the rest behind. That's just
nice.
Sage wisdom. Yes, absolutely. Naomi says, that's good advice, Tom. It's hard not to get excited to repeat what I heard during my private reading. I want to share with everybody. would love to hear everything too. I know. I want to share with everybody too whenever I get a reading. Ramona shares, "Hi everyone. Heart. I reminded my adult children about sending petitions up to her, to Asa. Yes.
Nice.
I haven't written one in a while. I should do that. I need to get on that." Leslie shares, "Today I am grateful to understand about the contract I made. It helps in the downtimes. Thank you, Asna, my spirit guides, Thomas and Adriana, and the Novus team."
Cool.
You're welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, Leslie. And then yeah, Julie had a comment earlier when I was mentioning that my mom gets very confused about what it is that I believe. Julie says, "Yeah, when folks don't know about Gnosticism, they tend to think it's bad." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, thank you everyone for your comments. If anyone has anything else to share, could be a cool experience that happened or something that you intentionally used, definitely feel free to leave it in chat, as well as any comments or questions about what we're talking about. So we're going to be talking more about extraterrestrials today, which is super exciting. Francine is continuing her talk from the last 2 sessions.
Fun.
Yes.
Some quick, well, I'll do what I can to make quick announcements. If you would, share, promote, like, subscribe, click on the bell, and donate. That helps keep the keeps the videos coming through, or the video feeds coming through. Let's see. Okay. One of these days I will fix the intro graphic in the video that Francine has no pillow and Raheem has the pillow, and we know it's reverse of that in a typical trance session. So one of these days I'll do what I can to adjust that. But in the meantime, are we still live? Yep, we're still live. That's good. What else? That's done for that. Special prayers. If you feel you have a need, you visualize what it is that you're looking for, or if you know someone that has special a need, special need that we ought to be putting energy into, visualize what that outcome is, and of course, ask that it be for the greater good. So let's take a moment of silence. Everybody can think about it, and it doesn't matter when you're listening to this or where you are. We're doing this all together, and the reason is there's no time on the other side. Just get that energy out, and it's going to go where it needs to go. So let's take a moment of silence and get those special prayers out for those in need. Amen.
Amen.
And of course, if you want to, you can write your own petitions if you want, or you can post a petition on the prayer chain. Go to the website, novus.org, and look for the prayer chain. And of course, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it.
Absolutely. I always love that.
Let's see. Where are we? Yep, we got people listening in. What's up next? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I know there's people on the conference call because I heard funny voices in my ears before we started.
Love it. I love it.
Anyway, we do appreciate you listening in, and if you've got streaming, or if you're streaming challenged, by all means, you call into the conference call with your phone, and that number is 888-534-2696. And while we are live, Wednesdays starting somewhere around 6 p.m. Pacific time, you're welcome to hang out there as well. But we do appreciate when you stay muted because that helps others have a great experience. So next in line is trance segments.
Trance segments. Awesome. Before we hop into those, there's a couple of comments that look really cool that I want to read. Gibson shares, here's how I used a philosophy today. I went to the pharmacy and there was a woman cursing out the pharmacy clerks while her
Ouch.
boyfriend was screaming that they were being racist. There were so many people in line and I was short on time since I was there for lunch. I imagined a purple cloth in her mouth and suddenly after 2 minutes they were gone. I don't know if they left or not. I just noticed that they were suddenly gone. Purple cloth works. That's beautiful. I'm glad that was able to resolve. Sherry shares, my daughter was afraid of her gift that she's a little psychic. I explained to her that she has a gift and she started feeling better about it. She dreams about things. Last week, she dreamt that her friend is having a baby. Her friend posted on Facebook the next day that she's pregnant, but didn't want to let people know until she knew about the gender.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Fun.
That's
That's
really
great.
cool. Yeah.
Part of what is it? The developing your psychic ability is get out and validate it. You know, I don't expect you to go out and door knock on your neighbors to say, "Hey, I saw you do so and so." But yes, as best you can, get out and validate. What you think is the message, or keep an eye on things.
Yeah. And Sherry, if you feel so inclined, what you could do is have talk to your daughter about the talk about synesthesia that Francine gave. It's in the third Journey of the Soul book, I believe.
Yeah, I'm almost positive of that. Yeah.
Yeah. The concept is synesthesia. Francine had a hard time pronouncing it, so she kept saying synthesia, but the word is synesthesia, and what it is our feeling of vibrating to another thing in outside of us. So if I say the word bunt cake, try to see if you can vibrate to the word bunt cake, and people might come back with a 4 or a 6 or a color or a smell. So if you have her go through those exercises, it really, really does help with developing that psychic muscle to kind of tune into what's going on out in the external environment. And it really helps. So I wish you both tons of fun on that adventure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just saw Mercedes. Hi, Mercedes. Haven't seen you in a while. We need to get together, girlfriend. We both in Los Angeles. We need to get together. Okay, so let's move on to trance segments. All right, so we're continuing about extraterrestrials and some comments about the lower levels. Big crop circles discussion. Pyramids were built with anti-gravity rods. Stonehenge was to show that man comes in a door and out a door and returns home. The Dogan tribe in Africa was very fearful of the Dog Star visitors who were actually cruel to them when they visited. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember them being fearful, but yeah, that fascinated me when I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Ready? Set?
Ready.
Okay, here we go. Take notes.
Ascending soul, or you can even use it even more specifically, the descending of the soul is on the 7 lower levels. Now, does that mean by any means that they're evil or bad? They're just from the subterranean group.
Right.
This is a phylum of Lilith. Mm-hmm. This is a phylum of the elves. Mm-hmm. This is a phylum of the gnomes and the sprites. And they're certainly not evil, but they are the levels in which nightmares come from. Strangely enough, because they seem to be alien in your world.
So it's fair to call them ultra-terrestrials also.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I think it's very important because if you said that and come over to my side, they would say, are they in the descent position or the transcendent position?
Where are they descent?
Yeah, it doesn't mean they've descended into any bowels. It's just a way of definition.
Okay.
Yes.
When you were talking about the Andromeda and the crop circles and there being notes, are the notes relevant to resonant factors that they use for travel, being the maps? In other words, that the crystal lattice formation of the universes,
Absolutely.
they're not actually traveling in distance, but in resonant form and making jumps.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
It's how they're able
it's
to
a quantum
travel.
leap that they do, and they're trying to show. It's almost a mathematical.
A mathematical sequence of
Yes.
resonance that actually takes them from one place
Yes,
to
it's
another.
a symbol.
So it's not energy transfer, but resonance transfer.
It's absolutely matter transfer. Yes, residential matter transfer. Yes. And it's very much like hieroglyphics. Man did not know what they meant until all of a sudden man began to realize that this. See, what they'll do is they'll keep repeating the same symbols until somebody will start putting them down, because aren't hieroglyphics nothing but symbols? I mean, our cuneiform was nothing but symbols.
Well, and so through cellular memory, if we can match that cellular resonance, that's when we can begin to blink in and out and can actually travel those
Absolutely,
distances without
absolutely, and
technology.
go through the Bermuda Triangle. See, that was one way. There was a pathway
So we're just finding the entrance to the lattice.
to the lattice. Yes,
Francine, when you
it's
said
it's Jacob's ladder.
you're saying that if someone takes the time to put down all of the crop circles as they come in and everything, we can begin to put a series together and everything?
Oh, sure.
Actually have a language for it?
Absolutely, that's exactly the way cuneiform and
Oh, I know, yeah.
in Egyptian. You see, when man first looked at the Egyptian language that had been 2,000-3,000 years, it looked like nothing but scribbles. It was a chicken and an eye and two ripple lines together. Well, as it kept repeating, man began to decipher. And then all of a sudden it was, I see the bird, I see Horus.
The Rosetta Stone.
That's right, the Rosetta Stone. And what's amazing about the man who deciphered the Rosetta Stone, the more he began to decipher, the more Egyptian looking he became, until finally they called him the Little Egyptian. It's very much like Seti. When Seti stayed there long enough, married to an Egyptian, even after he died, they allowed her to live within all the tombs in Karnak. She began to look Egyptian. Yes.
I might be totally wrong about this, but are the crop circles, if you were like somehow be able to spread out the areas of the whole world and you were able to map them, would they like form some kind of shape or drawing? Or
Yes, and if you looked at them very closely, you're absolutely not wrong. If you spread out a large map, and you look at exactly where the pyramids are placed, you will see that they are formed in a pyramid. In other words, one is here, one is here, one is here, and one goes up. So many, many times, and you see, that's what really built your pyramids anywhere where you're extraterrestrials. No man pulled them over a stupid water slope or mud. It was actually anti-gravitationally put there by a waving of a wand that dispelled the gravity, and they were lifted by spaceships up above. So, absolutely, you are absolutely right, yes.
Francine, I was watching a program about the pyramids, and they said what they did was they tracked back where the stars and everything were, and that it looks like they point towards the Pleiades.
Orion. Yeah, Orion. And what's even more amazing is when Sylvia went to Stonehenge, she said this is a gateway to show, as you stand in front of each place on Stonehenge, you see another galaxy, which showed, the Druids tried to show, nothing more than man comes in a door and out a door, and in a door and out a door. That's all it was, and it was a holy place of man's transcendence. It was so simplistic that for years scholars have mused over what are all these doorways to? What does it mean? Why is there an altar stone? There must have been sacrificial. No. Man literally built this circle saying the now. Time is in the now, and man goes in, and don't you see how it all makes sense?
Yeah.
And comes back to the original, which is the altar stone, and there he is made whole, or he completes his circle of his life. Yes,
Is it only the Andromedans that helped build the pyramids? Only.
yes.
So they've been the most positive. So even throughout history, Pleiades and Crab Nebula have never been a positive force whatsoever.
No. And you see the very strange thing about the Dogan tribe, of the dog star of the Pleiades, were very fearful. They didn't even know they had those telescopes, but they always were very, very fearful of the people that they called from the dog star, which that's the part of the Pleiades. They're very fearful of them because they did land and were very cruel to these early tribal people. So they're very fearful. And that's possibly one of the reasons why in ancient antiquity that God, mean God, is supposed to come from the sky.
Yeah.
Because the mean God comes from the sky and can do all kinds of bad things and torture you. A good God can come from the sky and do very good things for you. Yes.
Back to the resonancing. Is it like that a different resonance takes you to a different place? Is that why the notes are the way they are? Because if you elevate to a certain
It's very
resonance,
much like your own tone.
so, and in other words, if you can go to this place, you're going to go to this resonance, and
That's right. And
So
you can
it's-
keep going up the ladder.
you learn to map, and that's kind of like what our note sequencing is. But these are higher frequencies.
Absolutely.
They're super frequencies
Absolutely.
rather than.
Do you remember in
Sub-frequency.
the encounters of the third how they did the music that was
Right.
literally that was transcribed into math, because music is math.
Right.
Very much like that, but it was even more than that. Like you say, it helped the soul transcend. There was a morphic resonance in the tone or the sound that would make it.
So to make this easier, then, are our chakras aligned to each of these resonances, so that you would automatically go to the heart chakra to go,
Absolutely.
and you would map this tone, and it would automatically
Automatically
put you on the highway, basically.
Put you right on the
And
highway.
the same with the.
That's right, and they're trying to show. And some of those, look at them. They almost look like keys.
Yeah,
They have a
that's-
wide head, long stem, and 3 or 4
The
pieces
note was
coming
the
in.
key, and the
That's
key
right.
was the
That's
resonance.
right. And they're trying to say, please listen to us, because you're so ignorant you won't see us. You can't see us, so please, we're trying to show you. Now, the strange thing about it is the crop circles have let up, but you're going to see a lot of them next year again. And it's not, I promise you, it is not gophers, it is not high school children.
Hedgehog.
There's no one, they have proven there is no way. And when they take their Geiger counters over this, the radioactivity shows high, not high enough to kill. Man, I mean, you've got enough radioactivity in your ground, for that matter, but it certainly shows higher.
Well, for us working here, I've been doing a little bit of work with the tone rods. It seems like when you hit a certain tone, it's like it hits that
It
chakra.
hits.
Is that going to help us to do that, like with the
Yes.
cell memory
Yes,
classes,
absolutely.
and be able to tone it?
Well, you see, even in
Even in, yes, she got cut off. We'll have to ask later. Oh, guess what? You're muted.
I am muted. Here we go.
What'd you garner from that?
So something stood out to me when she was talking about the Dogan tribe, and that in the past there have been encounters with some extraterrestrial groups who are not good-willed individuals.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes me what that made me think of is how many folks are out there in the world who are like, well, what if extraterrestrials are jerks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What if they don't mean us well? And I wonder how many of those folks may have actually had that in their spiritual memory
Yeah.
in past
The,
lives.
gotcha. That's
So
oh yeah, okay. I hadn't thought about, past lives and oh wow, okay. I hadn't thought that elaborate. That was
it's like,
interesting.
oh
Yeah.
boy,
Because
yeah,
we bring things with us and uh, but that's I also like the point of relating to why there was a or what sounds like was the origination of a mean god coming from the sky,
yeah, that's fascinating, but it makes
where
sense.
we've carried that forward to say, oh, there's a mean god and good god uh, um, and different beliefs bring that along, carry that concept forward. The other documentaries show pyramids are in a not I was originally wrote geographic but geometric shapes across the planet, across our planet. They're aligned
Interesting.
geometrically, which there are lots of different speculations and why and how, but it's an interesting fact that they're aligned geometrically around our planet. And I'm fascinated by many of the places, and I'm sure the pyramids are one, but the um, um, what is that place? South America, way up in the hills. But that's only one of the not
My-
Machu Picchu. Is that the one that's real high up, or is Machu Picchu the pyramid out by
Much,
on the Mexico's eastern coast? Not
no, you were right with Machu Picchu, I believe.
Is the real high
That's the
one?
high,
Okay,
the high one. Yeah, that's
yeah.
got the
Well,
stairs, steps. Yeah.
even both of either one of those, but the ones that the ones that I've seen more detail on is Machu Picchu with the laser sharp stone alignments. That uh, to many people's understanding, we don't even have the technology to do that kind of thing, as sharp and as aligned as they are, to put those blocks together and have them fit with no mortar in between them. That's just boggles my mind. And they're huge, big
Yeah.
stones.
Yeah, there's another site that I was reading about that has that laser cut precision, like
Mm-hmm.
just like the blocks aren't like there's no variation, like they are laser cut blocks, and it's also a site in South America as well. So it's just fascinating. But yeah, but going back to the earlier point, I do think that's really interesting that um, that there's this possibility that some of our ancient legends and ancient myths of having a bad, scary god come out of the sky might actually have been
Mm-hmm.
extraterrestrials who did not mean well at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not exactly on a philanthropic mission at the moment.
Yeah. Yet we've got what is it? The Andromedans are ones that are out, looking for our help, looking out for
Yes.
us.
Yes.
So
Out to help
cool.
us.
What
Yes,
else?
very cool.
What, any fun notes, or we want to move forward?
Um, Michelle shares sound healing is very interesting. And that was Puma Pachu, the other site that has the laser
Hmm.
cuts. It's like tons and tons of blocks that have that have those cuts. It's just there's no way.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, okay, so let me, I guess, move on to the next segment then. We're going to hear more about acupuncture, massage, and dervishes were actually about accessing tones.
Hmm.
The universe does produce sound. What happens to tones when you no longer like or love someone? Andromedans resonate your own tone back to you, and how to elevate your soul.
Fun.
Okay.
All right. Take notes. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Horns.
Yeah.
And he was trying so hard. He didn't quite make it, but he was trying so hard to get this, almost this total quality.
Well, and just like our math or our science, we really have to get beyond the limitations of our tone.
Absolutely. Look at your Asian cultures, how much they will hit a resonating metal drum.
Yeah.
And it vibrates. And when it vibrates, it seems to do something. The Buddhists do it, the Shintos do it. And for some reason, man has lost all these tones. You see, that's what acupuncture was about too. That's what massage should be about, is trying to reach this level of vibratory or vibration.
So those tonal paths that we can travel out there are actually the tonal paths that are running energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
Is that the same thing? I just read about the Sufi dance where they
Yes.
have a tone.
The tone, that's right.
And it
Also, the
opens-
Dervishes do it too, you know.
It was the Dervishes
Yes,
that were doing this.
yes. I did that myself, you know. I could do it. I could do it for hours in a whirl and never stop.
On this side?
Oh, yes, in life.
So
Yes.
Oh, with the tones, but then can't, it's not only garble. Were they trying to match the tone of the soul, or they're trying to match the humming of the engine of the UFO?
Both. Both. You see what they were trying to do, these ancient chants, they were handed down. Some of the Azteca at one point had them down to almost within an nth degree of having it perfect, which was enough. You don't have to have it just exactly. But yes, if you're using tone, if you're using the resonant tone, and everybody resonates to a different tone, but it certainly doesn't hurt people to have different tones. They will immediately say, this one feels good, this one doesn't feel good. But yes, they were trying to duplicate, Kim, they were trying to duplicate exactly with the tones that they had left.
Well, and basically tapping to the tone of your soul is being able to touch into the tone of the universe, which means you can go anywhere and everywhere. You
That's right. See, there's no silence in the universe. I know that the astronauts have said that it's totally silent. No. Wow. What do? Take off their space helmet and go out and listen? They can't.
Plus, they were too scientifically isolated to be aware anyway.
But the universe is very noisy. And they think that it's because there is no air, that it cannot carry vibration, that there's no molecular. That's wrong. Tone is tone.
And air is actually a hindrance to that tone.
Absolutely. It can become, but if they ever were able, let's say, to go out in space without a space helmet on and not be crushed to pieces so they could hear, they would hear a lot of noise. And I don't mean noise as noise, but they would hear a lot of beautiful. They call it the song of the spheres, in fact. Because every planet gives off a tone. Every sun, moon gives off a tone. Everything in the universe resonates. And you see, we could even carry this farther, that certain people give off a different tone than your tone. I mean, I know you talk about astrological, and I know you talk about electrical currents and chemistry, but it really boils down to the tone of the soul. If somebody does not resonate to the tone of your soul, you're not going to like them, not one bit. And it doesn't mean that they have to be nasty or mean, but you're perfectly within your right to say, I can't stand that person. Maybe what you should say is, I can't stand their tone. Because it really bothers you. It's an irritation to you. And when that person walks up, and I really believe that the more psychic you are, the more tuned to the tones you are. And that's what just gives you an aversion to certain. Now, a person who becomes, let's say, all right, let's say you're connected with a person that you love very much. But in some roundabout way, or because of the use of, let's say, bad substances, things that they're doing wrong. Let's take alcoholism, drugs, whatever, overabundance of even legalized drugs. If you're around somebody who's highly advanced, or as many as you are, that person is not going to resonate to your tone anymore. That person is going to just be brittle, hateful, and mean, and not know why. Not because they're not spiritual, it's because they can't understand why your tone has changed. And a lot of you sitting there saying, but I used to love so-and-so, and I used to feel good about so-and-so, I don't feel good about them anymore. That can be one or two reasons. Either your tone has become higher in elevation, and maybe that's a point of patience, or and it usually has to do with the fact that their tone has become lower, and it's become scratchy, and it's become tinny to you. And you can't stand it because you're sensing the debauchery of what they're doing to themselves. You say, well, what about unconditional love? The tone is something that seems to operate entirely of its own volition to your soul. It has nothing to do with the physiological makeup. And that's why you can become so upset, because you don't know why you don't love a person anymore. You don't know why they irritate you so badly. But it's usually because they have created a failure for you. You see what I'm saying? In other words, you have tried to help, tried to do something for them, tried to be whatever you should be as a mystical traveler, and against all odds, they've defied this and reduced their tone. Yes.
Do the entities that live among us project different type of energies so we can't read them, or are they able to block your energy from us?
You mean the UFOs?
No, I'm talking about the entities from, Andromeda or the other places.
The extraterrestrials, yes, they can block you. They can block you from reading them. Oh, absolutely they can.
You can't read anything.
Now, Andromedas, I should clarify this, Andromedas are more apt to resonate to you. What they usually do, which is quite fascinating, is resonate your own tone back to you, so that you don't feel their tone, which is very enticing to anyone. You see, once you meet someone that resonates your tone, you're usually madly in love with them anyway, so that gives them sort of a shielding device. They don't do that to be hypocritical, they just know that this is, that you won't get to them that easily.
They're almost like a mirror.
Exactly. Exactly.
But do you get that feeling that you can't really read them at that point?
Absolutely. But you don't get the same evilness that you do with somebody that you don't want to read. No, you just feel that they're nice, but you can't get a hold of them. Yes, you can't get a bead, as Sylvia says, on them.
The doctor entities, can they hear our tone, and does that bring them to it?
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
do they want to zap
They
us?
can. They can zap you, but usually, if your tone is in perfect working order, as we say, and your soul is elevated to the point that you're searching. See, all elevation of the soul means is to question, to want to know. That's elevation of the soul. People are always saying, "How do I elevate my soul?" By doing this, by reading, by coming together as a group, whether it's a church or whatever. Each time you do that, you don't understand. If you could only see what we see, you go up at least 3 notches. Every time you put yourself out for another human being, your notch gets higher.
Oh, there you are. Gotcha.
Interesting.
I was just about to click on your microphone. She was talking about how the extraterrestrials, they reflect us, our tone back in a way of hiding themselves. And I was thinking, we also ask for something like that in a form of protection from negativity. When we say surround me with the white light of Holy Spirit, and also surround me with the mirrors facing outward.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, we're in essence doing the similar thing of, when somebody positive comes around us, guess what? They're reflecting themselves. And when someone negative comes around, guess what? We're reflecting that back to them, and they don't like it, and so they go away. Which almost, I mean, to me, it's also similar to the more we keep that, we visualize in our mind that form, the white light and the mirrors facing outward. That's almost like having, like, Harry Potter's cloaking blanket, as it were. That, it's reflecting back, and so there's nothing to see, beyond the mirror because the mirrors are reflecting back, what surrounds it.
That's fascinating. I wonder if that's what we're doing when we use the mirrors. If that's what it's actually doing, is reflecting back tones as well as energy.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's whatever. If you didn't specify, I think it would just, what's a mirror supposed to do? What do we think of a mirror doing? Is reflecting back.
Reflecting everything back. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think of light more than anything, and in my mind, I was picturing the positive, dark light energy reflecting back. But to add tone to that as well, that that's a fun idea, as adding, that it reflects the tone back as well.
Yeah. I want to share a few comments here. Michelle shares, wow, I was definitely supposed to watch this tonight. Changing tones lifts or lowers energy fields. How amazing to get validation for the changing of feelings towards others. Mm-hmm. I loved hearing that tones navigate our relationships. Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating, and it makes it definitely makes sense for why there's just why suddenly you watch somebody who you love making some choice that you don't like, and then there's something afterwards that happens on the inside where you're feeling like, I'm not attracted to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't find that attractive anymore, which I think is interesting, because if it was purely just a logical based decision, it'd be just like you'd be making, like, the language would just be different. But there's something like on the inside that feels unattractive about somebody making certain choices, or like getting heavily involved into substances and going on a spiral. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Ramona says, cool, I'm elevating. We're all elevating. High five. That was funny. Sherry shares, I used to love hearing my mom hit the Buddhist bell Orin Rin with the cushion stand stick. It had such a beautiful tone. It sounds lovely.
And that's in, that's, how do you say, a form of making our tone resonate, making our tone, spark. Is there a certain sound that you like, that sparks your emotion? We've heard about these in trances in the past, and I want to think. I resonate to, like, the low frequencies, like bass tones from, bass violin, bass guitar, the bass keys on an organ, those kind of tones. Those, yes, the others are fun because they make music, but those are the ones that I resonate to.
That's cool. You want to know my favorite instrument that I will just lose my mind every time I hear it is this. It's this reed instrument from the Middle East called the duduk.
Mm-hmm.
And I just lose my mind. I love it so much.
Interesting.
I also grew up playing the French horn, and I love that too. But the duduk, like, I just
What's
love
the shape
it
like?
so much. I don't even know what it looks like. I just, like, whenever I hear it, I just
Oh
my god. Yeah, I know it. And I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I had some past lives where I played in the Middle East. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kristen says Tibetan monks very low. That's true. Michelle shares, sometimes it makes you feel like you think you are crazy feeling hot and cold towards someone when really it's just the changing tone. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a really, really good point. That's now putting several of my relationships in the past in perspective. Good point, Michelle. High five. And Alyssa says, are we all supposed to have 2 spirit guides? My understanding is that we all have one main spirit guide, and then we might have like a couple others who are helpers. That's my understanding, as I recall.
That's mine too. But I've also heard when you know, watch Chris on his Q&A sessions on YouTube, and on occasion he'll rattle off a couple of names, and even Sylvia, when we listened, they'd rattle off a couple of names. But it's something of that. It's whatever your need is, and stop and meditate on it and say, okay. Matter of fact, what was I just listening to? Something. I don't want to. Spoiler alert. Sunday service for next Sunday. I was listening to editing the one of the service. Sylvia's I'm playing a Sunday service from Sylvia from the past, and she mentions about meditate on it and picture yourself at the beach as a comfortable place to sit, and ask for someone to come out of the shadows and sit next to you. And typically that's asking for your guide. And if you've got 4 people that sit down with you, then don't be so alarmed that out of nowhere 4 people show up in your meditation. Maybe you've got 4 guides, and talk to them, find out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But tell them to wear their name tags.
Real big. Real big.
In case you can't hear, in case they don't tell you their name.
Yeah, that's funny. Kristen says, I find a lot of guides around depending on my need. Exactly. Michelle has a question. What about some of the sound healing that involves electrical frequency? Is it safe? Should we use natural sound healing like bells, crystals, and metal sounds? So I remember Raheem talking about this. I have never, to my knowledge, heard them talk about the sound, like electrical sounds. I've never heard that before. But what I have heard them say is that acoustic sounds really do very well for us. And that metal sounds are very good. Glass doesn't do much. And
oh, sorry. I just realized, wait a minute. It's not just breaking glass. There's also the, making the wine glass sing. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true too. But that's crystal.
Yeah.
That might be different. That might be different if it's crystal. So those are the comments that I recall. That doesn't mean that there might not be merit or helpfulness to like an electrical sound, but I do know that they were talking about like strong benefit from like an acoustic present sound in the room. And that the sound of metal is particularly helpful for aligning your chakras. Yeah.
You know what? That may be why I really like the steel drums from the Caribbean.
Oh yeah.
Those are just like,
it's joyful.
Yeah. And I'm not sure why, but those are so much fun to listen to. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
But getting back to electronic, if I agree with the idea about natural vibration, a natural vibration versus electronic. Electronic is created. Yes, you can create tones electronically. If it works for you, great. But I think it's think in terms of organic or physical, something moving the air, as it were, versus an electronic created or generated. Now, yes, if you use an organic, like a crystal bowl or a steel bowl or steel drums, and you record that, okay. Yeah, I think of the reproduction of that is not an electronic tone. Yes, it is created by electricity, but it's replicating the organic original sound as best as we can.
Hmm. There's also one thing while we're on this topic that I want to debunk. So there's a lot of YouTube stuff out there that says like 566 hertz, like,
Oh.
for healing magic thing, and I'm like, this
Yeah.
drives me insane because a hertz. What is a hertz? Like because the premise is that you're like, okay, this is a magical number, therefore this is a magical healing frequency. But what is? But a hertz is just means like like waves per second, and second is an arbitrary period of time that's just for planet Earth. If we were to go to Mars, seconds wouldn't, like, they'd need a different calendar that would work for Mars. If we go to any other place, it'd need a different thing. And so our hertz is just completely arbitrary. So people who are saying like, oh, buy my stuff that is this magical number of hertz, I'm like, no, that is all a sham. But if it's a pretty song, great, that's wonderful, enjoy the pretty song. But there is nothing magical about something being a hertz. It's because it's a second. It's just like waves per second. That's all it is.
It's getting back to, that would be electronic.
Yeah.
You know, if you're saying you have to listen to this frequency, well, that becomes an electronic origination. Whereas if you're playing a flute, yes, it's going to generate a tone that we can measure, and we can call it this frequency. But it's playing a tone. It's playing a tone. Instead of us saying, like you said, that's specific.
Yeah, it's just a pitch. Yeah, like, and the pitch is measured in a hertz. And so, anyway, it's just something that I wanted to comment on because it's a pet peeve of mine. Like, yes. A pretty song, enjoy the pretty song, right, to your heart's content.
Right.
Anyhow, shall we move on to our next segment? Maybe.
Yeah.
We
have another one. Yeah, we are supposed to do another one.
Extraterrestrials. Okay. All of your good works count. Description of Andromeda Galaxy's different peoples. The elevated third sex. Humanitarian theme. Cardiff is Andromedan. And spirits walking in our world.
Cool.
All right.
Take notes. Here we go.
See, people don't think that good works are ever noticed. Maybe not in this world, but we see you notching up. Going to a place to get cookies for a convalescent hospital took up a few notches. Going out of your way to get little packets of things to take around and sing, another notch. Coming to a meeting goes up another notch. Coming together as a group for potluck is a notch. See, any group of people coming together for a common good or a loving makes the notches go up. That's why I think years and years people have railed about church. It isn't so much the railing about church to come and bring money. It's because we see what happens with your soul, and you don't see it, and we do, and we keep saying, please come together as a group, regardless of where you meet, but meet together in one denominational pool. And especially with your children. Your children they zoom notches. Mm-hmm. And I think if someone would have told the early Christians or Sufis or Mormons or whatever that was, you're not coming because you have to pay your dues. It's because we see what your soul is doing. I think that it would have made for a happier congregation than to say to them, if you don't come, you're going to be damned or whatever. No. To give them the incentive that we really see these, Sylvia calls them golden poppet beads, but it really looks like that to us. It looks like you have a streamer of them after one. Yes.
So are Native American and Orientals, they came from the same planet, or they were?
They come from Andromeda.
That most of us do.
Oh, everyone did. And you see, what the Andromedans wanted to do was pick from the different parts of their galaxy where they were the more Asian looking, the blacker ones, because they're the only galaxy that have all these flavors to them. And they're the only ones that lived in such wonderful harmony with all these flavors. Why would you have an extra fold of skin just because you were born in another part of the country? You did it because Andromedans, and you assume this, although this is the only life that you've been Asian, neither good nor bad, doesn't make any difference. But why you came into this genetic structure was because that was a part of Andromeda, that the sun was so terribly bright, if there hadn't been an extra fold of skin over the eye, it would have been burned out. And you notice that there's no blue-eyed Asians. It would have ruined their retinas. The darker ones were also closer to the other side as it swirls, to millions and millions of their suns, which are huge, which would eclipse your sun. It would make it look like a tiny dot on the Grand Canyon, a pin point. And they became much darker in coloring. And so the Andromedas decided to take this wonderful, beautiful rainbow mix of people and put them down together because they'd all lived so happily together in Andromeda. But something happened in this negative planet, which they should have been aware of. And because, and then it became almost a double thing, that people would then pick whatever race was being crucified at the time, sometimes to come in. Chinese if they were going into camps, Jewish if they were going to be persecuted, blacks if they were going to be used as the Uncle Tom, so to speak, or whatever it might be, the Caucasians now, which are going into a mass persecution, or Eskimos, regardless of what it was. People will pick sometimes the crucifixion pattern of being gay. They will use the, I don't like to call people by that name, but I know you use it in your world. We call it the elevated third sex. Because we think that it's hard for people to come into that sexuality, especially in your little tiny world of tiny minds. Not you, I do not mean you. Yes.
Francine, I'd like to say that I totally agree with the concept of giving that you just mentioned a few minutes ago. How does that relate to what Sylvia said about 2 weeks ago regarding giving too much and keeping people in conflict? I'm not really clear about it.
Sylvia has been wrestling with this for a long time, and she's seen a lot of people that I think, and many times by using her own theme as a basis. Many of you in here, if you haven't been born with the theme of humanitarian, by being a Gnostic, you've taken that on as a dharma, or as, let's say, your responsibility line. And what happens a lot with humanitarians is they want to just give and inundate, because if they keep giving, there's no way you can give back. So you're stopped. So she had made because she's talked to so many humanitarians lately, and of course that's true because the world's turning to spiritualism, even with we have all this fundamental insanity going on that won't last long. But what she was finding is that maybe even in her own life, if she gave so much, then she wouldn't have to put up with people giving back. Because in people giving to someone, you have to respond. And what happens with the humanitarian, they become like porridge machines, and they have to be stopped somehow, because they just keep giving out and out and out and out, and every once in a while you want to say stop, stop.
Okay, so we basically want to take some breaks in between and
That's
allow
right.
other people to...
And let other people love you, but not drain you.
Cardiff then would be an Andromeda,
Absolutely. Cardiff is an Andromeda, of high-powered Andromeda.
and he resides on Andromeda. Does he ever incarnate here?
I think he did it one time. I'd have to check the archives, but I don't think he liked it one bit.
He is basically who the Andromedans would, I don't want to say answer to, but he is a leader, a positive leader.
Yes, it's very much like me being able to dance, you know, the dervish. I've been able to do it on your planet. You say, how? You're a spirit. Because Rahim has taught me. So he comes down and lives in your world, you know what I mean? Like I do. But he doesn't want to incarnate. Does that sound strange? In other words, there's a lot of us that walk your world and view your world and go to lunch with you and sit in booths and we dance. In fact, Rahim and I in the back room here the other day were doing the whirling, and I can out-whirl Rahim, which was much to his dismay because he is so very competitive.
His turban threw him off.
You can just imagine. Well, I don't. What I don't get a sense when they're hanging around. That's just me personal, but I know some people were able to sense, hey, they're hanging out. But I can just imagine them hanging out in the back room. When they refer to the back room, if I'd say it, I might be able to express it. One of the offices that we occupied, Novus occupied for several years, had a backspace that we did our classes and Sunday service and so on, and and spirits you would hang out when they wanted to hang out with us.
That's great.
Somebody was mentioning in the comments about guides aligning their chakras, and yeah, by all means, bug them. You know, ask for that help. Ask your the angels around you too. Ask them both. Say, hey, I'd like my chakras aligned or cleansed or rooted or whatever it takes to rejuvenate and refresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes I'll ask for acupuncture, and I'll be asking for a couple days, and at night I'll feel like this really sharp pinprick in different parts of my body, and I'm a huge believer in acupuncture. I haven't gone in a while, but in the past it's just been an absolute godsend for a mystery illness that I had at the time.
You ask for your guides to do that?
For acupuncture? Yeah, I ask. I say
I never thought about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say, please send acupuncturists. Yeah. Please send acupuncturists and energy workers, and I just lay it all out. Just say send the whole team, send the whole crew. But sometimes I'll feel when I'm asking for the acupuncture for something, I'll feel pinprick somewhere. And if anyone's ever had acupuncture before, when they get a really sensitive spot that feels like a lot of energy to it, and you just totally spaz out in the middle of the night. My husband looks at me like, baby, you okay? And I'm like, I'm great. I'm great. We're good.
I feel energized.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, wow.
It's funny. Let's see here. Salt bath clears chakras. Yes, salt, we've been told, has a very big neutralizing effect for any negativity. So I also do salt baths. That's really cool. It's a nice tool. Kristen shares, I do acupuncture every week. Cool. I wish you healing with whatever it is that you're getting support for. Kristen says, singing also clears the chakras. Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
You know what? No, I want to pose a fun question. Why do you think that is?
Maybe getting into your own tones. I don't know.
Bingo. That was what came to my mind. Yes, that's what I want.
Cool.
That's what I'm speculating. I think that's the gist of what's going
Yeah.
on. Yeah, you're generating the tones.
I definitely feel more alive when I'm singing. That I will say. That I will say for sure. Alyssa shares, I always thought all extraterrestrials meant well. It's kind of scary that there's some bad ones out there. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it though, because she said that, like, it sounds like there's so many Andromedans around that it kind of makes it really difficult for anyone else to do anything sketchy.
And look at. Oh, sorry. Finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then if there is anyone doing anything sketchy, she said last week that like Andromedans, like they're really, really fast to act to get those jerks out of here.
Shoo them out. Yeah.
Scientists, yeah. So it doesn't. So like we're not. She's not. I mean, put it in perspective. She says like she described like there's a few rogue scientists out there who are punks that they don't like. We don't want them. But in context, that is vastly different than all of the doomsday scenarios that we get that we've been shown on our movies. Like
right.
Terrestrials come and like swarm the planet and enslave the human race, and it's this awful, terrible time and then Will Smith saves the day. That is not what we have. That's not what's being described to us. So I think we're okay. I think we'll be okay. It is a little bit unsettling, but I'm not.
An example.
Much about it.
An example is that I recall is like the animal mutilation.
Yeah, the animal
that they find out on someone's ranch.
People.
Yeah, that's kind of the extent of things that we were shared.
Yeah, unsettling, but at least it's not like our movies at all. It's a very different picture that Francine is painting for us. So it's a little unsettling, but I'm okay. It's not too bad. We got some protectors on our side, and that's good. Those are all good things. Let's see here. Ron asks, like a swim in the ocean? Yes. So like swimming in the ocean to clear out your chakras. Yes. Yeah. And Sherry says, I love singing. I have a karaoke machine that I can adjust the pitch. That's fun.
Oh, fun.
That is super fun. I love it. Absolutely love that. That's too cool. Oh, man. And Ron shares, why worry? Keep Asna's mantle of protection around you. Absolutely. I don't think our guides would let anyone bug us like that. So I think we're good.
Cool.
All good things. All right.
Now it's time for
meditation.
Metatarsal meditation. Metatarsals, yeah. No, meditation. For those of you that want to participate, find yourself a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap to receive that wonderful grace. Let's see. And for those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations in the on-demand when they are available. Oh, there it is. That's the one I wanted. Let's try that one. So, yeah, find yourself that spot, and here, we will enjoy.
Find yourself a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and the body. Now, close your eyes when you are ready.
Symbolic roadblocks. Begin to feel yourself relax as you go down an escalator. This is your lifeline, where you can now open up your channel. This is where you can get in touch with your guides and get your messages. Count backward. 10. Let yourself go. 9. All systems work better for you than ever before. 8. Let go of all negativity. 7. Bring in God's grace through the top of your head. 6. With each breath you exhale, feel the negativity leave. 5. Go deeper. 4. Breathe more regularly. 3, 2, 1, 0. I want you to imagine yourself in a field. Feel the wind on your face and the grass flapping against your legs. And you feel the power of the Spirit move with every gust of wind. Tangible and strong. Visualize that you are surrounded by a glowing white light. Feel it about 8 to 10 inches from your body, glowing brilliantly and protecting you. In front of this field, I want you to see every negative thing that's ever been in your life beginning to rise up like symbolic roadblocks. Name each of these ugly brown blocks. Name them anxiety, neglect, fear, illness, rejection, pain, the inability to express yourself, and so on. And let these blocks build, because we have all got them looming in front of us. They hold us down to earth and block us from God. Now reach out in front of you. Take the light that surrounds you and hold it in your hand. You can pull it out from your arm just like a snowball. Throw it at the blocks with all your might. Watch them crack, crumble, and disintegrate. Furiously and more furiously, you throw these until all blocks dissolve and become dust. And there you stand, a wonderful, beautiful, God-centered being, totally in control and totally willing to do whatever God wishes you to do. Free of all judgment and guilt, you are standing and breathing free.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back. 1, 2, 3. Fully and totally alert.
Wow. Talk
Empowering.
Yeah. The putting those things out in front of you and then knocking them down or obliterating and yeah, whatever visual form that takes to let things go.
Yeah. Very empowering. I love that meditation. That visual, I use that all the time, putting something in front of me and destroying it down to dust in a field.
If you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to kat@novus.org or to tom@novus.org. And of course, we appreciate all the listeners, both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, and subscribing, and making sure that the rest of the world knows about us. Check out our websites, novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, chrisrightnow.com. Yep, we're on Facebook at Society of Novus Spiritus, Sylvia Browne Group, New Spirit Radio, and a variety of Novus Spiritus study groups. Yep, and we also love YouTube, Society of Novus Spiritus, and Chris's Psychic Awareness. Let's see, if you want to donate and get something, you can start a study group. You'll learn more about our philosophy. And in the meantime, you can also get something and donate to Society of Novus Spiritus by going to Amazon Smile and tell them who your 501c3 organization is. Church services, yes, there's one coming up here Sunday that we'll be posting on Facebook and YouTube. It will be classic from Larry and Sylvia. If you want to join in on the live special Zoom service, put your email on the website and you'll get a notice and invitation how to join that one. Reverend Ellen Schloss schedules those available. Now's that the special prayer ceremony called the Novena. For those of you that are new, there's a phrase that we are all going to say together at the same time, as best we can with the internet and streaming and all that fun stuff. And that phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. And I'll lead, and we're going to say that phrase 3 times, and then I'll let you know what we want to stop and ask for, who to ask for things. So, doesn't matter where you are, just visualize all of us together in a large room, whatever you like for a room. We're all together in a large room, and we're holding hands, making a big, huge circle. So, picture that, and we will start. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. For yourself. Sorry, what am I reading here? Ask for things for yourself. Okay. Ready? I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now ask for things for others. Okay, the last one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking this spiritual knowledge and that we share with them. And of course, be appreciative. Show your appreciation to Francine and Raheem for researching all of this wonderful knowledge. And of course, Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement, and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. And of course, Asna for helping and protecting us. Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. Bob Ingle for helping with the audio and graphics. Sammy and Javon for the wonderful intro-outro music. For the show, writing, setup, and hosting is MIT Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now, a prayer from Sylvia. Somewhere. It says share. So we will share. Where do we go? I think this is it.
Festival of Lights Prayer, Evening. Dear Mother, not just for today, but for all the days and nights of our life, attend to us. Visit us often. Our doors are always open to your blessed face. Take with you today our lights and add them to the halo of your light. Forgive our wrongs against ourselves. Free us from the guilt of past programming and leave our minds and souls and body free to serve you. At the end of our life, be waiting for us, dear Asna. Give us a sword of might to cut darkness and fight the adversities of this world. Give us courage to profess our faith and knowledge so we will be an example to all who come. Amen.
Candles out. And Kat's going to tell us.
Don't be afraid to bring forth what is within you.
For so long
We love you so much. Good night.
You,
Mwah.
as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You're more than a friend to me. You give me everything I need. In your peace you hold me tight. You are the bringer of the light. With no fear we boldly stand. Because you hold this world in your hands. You are the truth. You are the hope. Mother God.